So recently, I found myself thinking about jealousy. When someone seems to be successful in an area and you just find yourself being very insecure, you find yourself questioning about the level of success that you've achieved in your life, or you find yourself questioning your abilities. And it's like because insecurities are such a core part of every psyche, and I even feel like sometimes insecurities can define a lot of what your personality is, because there are some things that you're insecure about and some things that you're confident about. That's like a big part of your personality. It's like the world is a battlefield where any second a bomb can erupt and can cause these pangs of jealousy. I don't know about you, but jealousy sucks and it's very shitty. I often notice that one of the biggest buzzkills in my interaction with others is when I just feel this palpable sort of competition between me and some other person, and it's just like I feel like it just ruins the connection that we have, when the other person kind of puts the two of us into separate boats, and where our separate achievements are being compared as on the basis of societal expectations of ambition or whatever. And I just feel like it really comes in the midst of genuine connection, and it really just ruins my mood, because I don't want to experience that with another person. And I just feel like it also makes me hesitant to share news with certain people, and it's just a very off-putting attribute that you can sense in a very non-tangible but real way. And this is not to shame anybody for experiencing jealousy. It's a very valid and real emotion, but what I want to bring to your notice is just its damaging and insidious aspect, because I feel like that human connection really is such an important part of our life. And I feel like what we need to do is just be aware of it in a non-judgmental way, because we can also judge ourselves very harshly, in fact more harshly than other people. And then I feel after we have been aware of our tendencies, we can transcend. And just realizing that I don't have to internalize somebody else's success to mean my own inferiority is very empowering, because if I have a certain emotion, I can't destroy its very existence, but I can choose to channel that energy into a more productive pathway. So just realizing that instead of feeling insecure about myself, I can just turn that focus outward and instead join the other person in the celebration of their success is just, I don't know, it's just very liberating. And it's not to mean that you're supposed to repress your jealousy or wish it away or anything. It just means that you are redirecting it in a more positive and healthy manner, because energy cannot be destroyed, but it can change, it can shape shift and change its forms. And so, like an example of this would be people laugh sometimes when they're angry, because they have all of that energy, and instead of expressing it in an angry manner, you would sometimes notice that people just sometimes laugh about lurking anger beneath. So, this would just be an example of how it is indeed possible to channel our energy into different pathways, and we can do it consciously. We have that amount of control over our emotion. I've actually found myself being very intentional in my interactions with others. If somebody is sharing news with me which makes them happy, I don't want to cast a pall over their happiness, and I'm just being like very intentional that if somebody is sharing good news with me, I add to their happiness, not detract from it. Because I don't know about you, there's just general conception that, oh, somebody's envious of me, so that's a good thing. But I don't want that to happen. Like, if I achieve something, I want other people to be happy in their lives too. I don't want to make people insecure because of me. I want them to be happy too, and I want myself to be happy too. And I don't think that we have to be happy at somebody else's expense, or that somebody else's happiness should come at the expense of our happiness. I just think that's a destructive mindset to have. One really important point to note here is that everybody will have difficult levels of hardship in achieving this effect. Because if somebody has a lot of negative emotions stored up in their life and they generally feel bad about themselves, then it's going to be easier for them to experience jealousy, as opposed to somebody who feels that they're secure in their life, that they have done what they had to, that they have acted in the way that they would have expected themselves to, that they have lived up to their potential. So I think that just the fact that you're experiencing jealousy can point you towards, you need to become more secure in your own life. You need to come up with mechanisms and solutions to the problems in your life so that you feel more secure. And it takes different amounts of time for everybody, so there shouldn't at all be any shame attached to anymore. And I also feel like if you want to gauge if you've genuinely mastered this effect, like this pushing away the focus from yourself and just participating in somebody else's happiness, is if you're able to do that in an area that you're insecure about. I feel like that's a point where you can just measure your own success and you can be like, okay, so I do have the ability to not be self-centered in that particular moment. It doesn't mean that you're self-centered all over, but if you feel insecure for somebody else's success, then it is a self-centered moment. It is a moment where you are focused on your own insecurity and not on the other person, and not on you're just giving too much importance to your own life, even though you're very insignificant, let's face. Another dimension in this psychological process that is taking place is just that when you're feeling jealous for somebody because of somebody, I feel like it's also very important to take what you can from the experience, to learn what you can, because or else it's just a missed opportunity. I feel that instead of comparing your progress in life to theirs, it's a much more productive exercise to be curious about how they got where they did, what are they doing right, which mindsets have they employed, what environmental factors have helped them. And the point of this is not to become a copycat, because I feel like that's also indicative of like shaky self-esteem, that you just want to become like somebody else. I want you to become the best version of yourself. And so what I feel is much more useful is to take what you can from the techniques that they've employed and make them there, and then strengthen the weak areas in your life through inspiration, through similar techniques, through techniques that are applicable to you, that are suitable to you, that align with your values and that add value to your life in itself. Because just rewiring the way that you perceive a situation is not enough, because I really do feel that solutions on a mental level without practical action tend to be half-baked, because the world is very concrete, reality is very physical, and so it's also essential to take practical actions in order to improve our lives. The final aspect of this is that jealousy is actually a feedback mechanism. If you feel insecure about a certain area in your life, then you're more likely to feel jealous about it. So if, for instance, you feel insecure about your social life, then somebody else's flashy social life is more likely to make you insecure. If you feel like you don't work enough, or you don't achieve enough, or if you haven't made enough progress in your work life, then somebody else's work-related accolades are more likely to make you insecure. And so it could also be reframed as a feedback mechanism, so that you're just ultimately working on yourself and becoming the most amazing version of yourself, because you can. If most of this video is just spiritual bullshit and you are resolute in the rightness of feeling jealous the way that you do, well, then just consider this video a goalpost. Just commit yourself to being so secure in your life that when somebody comes along with a shiny trophy of victory and they're just like, oh I did this great thing, and you feel like, oh my god, I've never done anything as good. You're not an antagonist, you're just a participant in their joy. Commit yourself to becoming that secure, and I promise you'll feel better for it.